Thank you all for joining us for the course organization creating an inclusive online course syllabus workshop. Joining us today is Dr. Ted Weisman, Embedded Instructional Technologist, Office of Online Education. Dr. Weisman will be guiding us through the process, creating a syllabus that will improve students' overall participation and outcomes within an online class. I'm going to hand it over to them to get us started. Thank you so much for being here, Ted.
All right, thank you so much. Welcome everybody. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So first, a little bit about me, Dr. Ted Weisman. I work for the Office of Online Education. So I'm from the Office of Online Education, and we support teaching faculty primarily online. That being said, our mission is to empower faculty to combine engaging teaching and learning strategies with technology, enabling students to achieve academic goals and prepare for the future. We do have a website. It's a Teach Online website. There's a variety of resources that you can access should you want to do that, and I can provide it to you as well. And then for those of you who don't know, an embedded instructional technologist, there are 4 of us. We support different colleges, and our job really is to help people teach online and use different technology. We are different than OIT, which really is more about the clicks in your course. So when things are technically not working, you go to OIT. When you want to talk about what is a good assignment or what is appropriate use of video, or how much, whether or not to incorporate group work or pedagogy, kind of just best practices. Best is also a very ambiguous term, but we're thought partners, and my PhD is in teacher education. So it's just helping teachers do better in the classroom, both online and in person. As we move into this new phase of the world, students naturally want to be online, and it fits their lifestyle or their desire to have a more flexible environment. And this is, so depending on the college that you are associated with, these individuals can help you directly. I'm always available. My email is right here. It's just my first name, period, last name at unlv.edu. Feel free to email me anytime. I'm available. So with that in mind, we're going to go ahead and hop into what we're doing. So there's 2 things. One is a syllabus. There's a couple things. This is a sample syllabus for a course, and what you need to know, especially about a syllabus, is there are a few things that are out of your hands. Okay, so number 1 is accessibility. So you want to make sure your syllabus is accessible. For those of you who don't know, right, you can use Microsoft Office or Microsoft Word. There's an accessibility checker. It shows that. It'll give you the things that you need to ensure that you meet accessibility requirements. We have an accessible template. So please, you can use those things. Also, there are certain policies that are required by UNLV to be included in your syllabus. Whether you want to use, no matter what you do, there are UNLV policies. So I'm going to scroll. So like right here, these are class policies. These are UNLV policies. These are things that change potentially every semester. And you want to make sure that you put in your syllabus. Everybody has a varying degree of autonomy, I guess you would say. in terms of what they can and can't put in a syllabus. I don't know, like I teach a section for the College of Education, one section, one course where I'm actually given the syllabus, and all I can do is change the first part of it. So if I was to go here and pull up my syllabus right there, the only thing that I change is this box right here and my course number. All right. So otherwise, all of this is boilerplate because there's 24 sections and we all have to have the same syllabus. So depending on what you're teaching, please be aware of that. Now, with that in mind, you are able to go in and make some adjustments. All right. So what does that mean? In 2023, we know better. And what I mean by that is that we know that our audience is different than it was previously. So we now need to address our students more explicitly. So the key to that is recognizing right here, when students are able to see themselves represented in course content and discussion, it signals to them that their identities, such as race, ethnicity, gender identity, sexual orientation, immigration status, and disability, are valued and respected in the classroom. So you don't use just one pronoun if you can. You don't use you allow students the ability to and maybe there's a notation in your syllabus and we'll talk more about it. Yes, go ahead.
Hey, Ted, sorry. There was a question
Sure.
on the chat. Does the text need to be included, or can you include a link to the policies?
I would defer to your department or the person who's overseeing you. I put it in the syllabus, but also I have seen people that have put some QR codes at the end of a syllabus that also links to policies. But I would defer to your department and what the process is for them. You can't go wrong putting the policies in your syllabus, but you just want to make sure that they are addressed. So just ensure that you're following whatever guidance it is. There's nothing wrong with having it more than one place. Put the links in. I mean, I tend to be a little bit, obsessive about or compulsive. Well, I'm not sure which one it is, but make sure that I've dotted my I's and crossed my T's, because those policies are there to protect you. Should you have anything come up and something happens in terms of attendance, academic integrity, whatever it is. So make sure that you're addressing those things. What is an inclusive syllabus? So an inclusive syllabus has 6 characteristics. It is learning focused. It has essential questions. It addresses universal design learning, inclusive motivated language, and supportive course policies, and accessible design. We are in a space, especially if you're in the online space, where you can provide additional things and so the syllabus is more than just the document that you hand out the first day of class that tells all the students everything. It is probably the most accessed thing that will happen in your course, especially online. If you think about your own teaching as graduate assistants and being students, how often are you referring to your syllabus? You're referring to that table, you're referring to the description, you're referring to the grades, whatever it is. So you want to make sure that whatever you're doing, this document has kind of covered all the bases. So that's what you're trying to do. So let me move you over. Okay, I'm going to move you over here. Perfect. So learning focused, what does that mean? Learning focused is that there are a couple of things. Number one is that Grad Academy, go for it.
Hey, Ted, what does UDL stand for?
Oh, universal design for learning. We're going to get to it in one of the next slides.
All right, thank you.
You got it. Sorry. Yes. And I even have a note in here not to use like acronyms without explaining them. So boo on me. So thank you. So the first thing when we talk about learning focused is it's more than just telling the students what the assignments are. You want to tell the students what they're doing, how it connects, why things are relevant. You want to give them a way to go through the content that is digestible and not overwhelming. I think I had a class once that students told me their syllabus was like 32 pages. I don't know anybody that a 32-page syllabus is beneficial for. But if you need all the content in there, that's something just to be aware of. And the goal of your syllabus not only is to convey information, but to be a resource. Now, a learning focused syllabus, how they will learn, what they will do, and what will help them to be a successful learner in the course. So you can put in things like this should take you about like 2 hours to do. You can put in time. You can put in additional resources. You can put in what the expectation in terms of participation looks like. This can all go in your syllabus. So in assessing your own syllabus, how does your syllabus provide students with a pathway of learning through the course? So do you scaffold your syllabus? So for example, I have a project, a service learning project, and in there they have multiple assignments. And so the way that the assignment is explained is service learning project with multiple assignments in there, and it shows how they're going to ultimately do the big assignment. What resources are available? What are the goals? What are the measurable objectives? What do they need to do to be successful? What do you need to clarify? I actually have students do a quick little quiz saying they understand things, and they can ask me questions as a separate thing. Now, this is where we start to talk about inclusive, the idea of hidden curriculum. Be conscious of norms that may reflect culture or privilege. So masculine pronouns, Christmas break, winter break, such certain slang. Is your content diverse? What are you doing? What I'm a big fan of is talking about what students should do versus in a positive way. So we talk about this in terms of it's not 10% off for a day late, it's 90% for a day late, right? So 90% of the assignment. So you're not showing the negative, you're showing that you can still earn credit by turning something in late. Do you explicitly state values and expectations? You want to be clear about that. This one, essential questions, this depends on your course. Some courses lend themselves to big ideas and big themes. Some are very specific in terms of content. I would think of maybe a basic anatomy course or something along those lines where there really isn't a big idea. You need that information or like statistics. Those are basic courses that the big idea isn't that you can, I guess the big idea could be how do you use statistics or how do you interpret statistics or things like that. But for my course, I teach a second-year seminar, one of them, and is one of the courses. And the big idea is how do we think and interpret information and engage with our peers? That's a big idea, right? So depending on the course, you might be able to answer some of these things, and you might be able to include that in your syllabus. Universal design for learning. Here is your question. Here is your answer. So this is ultimately differentiation and variation of content. So you don't have only text-based content in your course that are long readings. Maybe you have videos, maybe you have podcasts, maybe you have images, maybe you have graphics, maybe you have interactives. You have a variety of content. You have your content chunked appropriately. You don't have 62 slides in a PowerPoint that students have to go to. You don't have, 60-minute videos for students to watch, right? You're trying to give students more digestible and accessible content depending on who they are. And there's a big difference between equality and equity. This image right here shows you. And when you talk about a syllabus, these are the keys. So all learners, was there a question? Okay.
No, there isn't a question.
All right, awesome. And just feel free to stop me. I kind of just keep going unless I hear something. So it's kind of one of those things. So when you're thinking about this, you want students to understand why they're doing what they're doing. You want to be intentional and flexible options for all students to use. Okay. This is a tricky subject, so I'm just going to say it. Deadlines are awesome and people should be held accountable. Life happens. And you as an instructor and as a student and as a human being living in the world know that there's a variety of reasons why people don't get things done. You should put policies in place to ultimately hold people accountable. So one of the statements that I frequently use with my students is we have a very rigorous or strict attendance policy for our seminar. It's explicitly stated, excused, unexcused, absences, but at a certain point, you get an F. You miss X number of classes, it doesn't matter why, you get an F, it's there. And then also you turn things in after a certain amount of time, you can only earn a certain, certain percentage of points. What I tell students is if you don't show up and you don't turn in assignments, I can't help you. If you do show up and you do turn things in, we can figure it out. I believe that people try their best. I want to believe people are good. If that means I get taken advantage of every now and again by some enterprising students, so be it. But I would like to believe that if students are telling me they can't turn something in, I like to give grace. But ultimately, when it comes to your policies, you have them in place should you need to enforce it. I believe as an instructor, you should be flexible. Deadlines are, like I said, they're great to have, but we have international students is a great example for an online course. We have people taking classes that are not in the same time zone or the same place. So having something due at a certain time, Pacific Standard Time, do you address the fact that they're on a different time zone, or you have a class meeting, like a synchronous meeting? Are you addressing it? Access to resources. So do you open up your modules with enough time? Do you allow people to do things? Do you provide that? And are these things, the syllabus is your way of not only saying what your policies are, but then also what remediation you might have. So, there's a lot of things that go there, and this kind of explains it right here. And I'll kind of pause here, and if anybody has any questions about really application in terms of UDL, because it's usually a tricky subject because people want to hold students accountable. Like, should I accept late work? Should I not accept late work? Should I allow, like, what do you do?
So anybody can unmute themselves, or you can type them in the chat too. Please don't be shy.
So when you just asked the question, UDL, were you, I thought everything you were describing actually was more for the syllabus. So is there a distinction of what you're saying is the actual, what is that, universal design of learning versus the overall syllabus? I feel like I missed something with that.
No, so what I'm saying is does your syllabus account for that? Are you including what your guidelines are in terms of, so if we're down here looking at this, right here, options for students to demonstrate their learning beyond quizzes or exams. So do you, allow, this kind of bleeds into the actual delivery of content, but you want to account for it in your syllabus, if that makes sense.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, that's all. So when you're designing your assignments and you're designing things, you would say something, you will have the option of submitting your final exam either as a video, a PowerPoint, a paper, or a presentation, right? Whatever it is, you kind of just address it.
Makes sense. Thank you.
You're welcome. And that, I think your question is, how do you communicate this through your syllabus? The next thing that we have, if you put any more questions, feel free to throw them in the chat. So the next one is inclusive language. So this is a little bit of a hot topic, I know, as of late, in terms of like statements of diversity and inclusion. I think there was some, when they were talking about it in terms of like job hiring and higher education. That being said, you want to be inclusive. There's no other. We are in 2023. Times are changing, and we owe it to our students to address those changes and be cognizant of them. So if, putting in a diversity and inclusion statement, it's just really, I would once again defer to your department or your chair or whoever your mentor teacher is, but you want there to be something that is inclusive of students if you choose to do this. The other thing about this is you want to use an inviting tone. So these are cold language versus warm language. Come prepared to actively participate. I hope you actively participate. No excuse for not contacting me within 24 hours. This says, if something happens, please contact me. We're just kind of shifting a little bit. And like I said, when we know better, we do better. We change our language, we adjust, we evolve, we grow, and it's all for the better. There's no downside to being more inclusive of your students, is what it comes down to. Right down here is commands versus imitations. I encourage you to use office hours to ask questions. You're welcome to email me with an issue that you have on an assignment, whatever that is. It just kind of be aware. Also, these are things that we do. We don't even realize it. An example is I say you guys, as just when I talk about a group of people, I try really hard to say you all now, because it's not inclusive to say you guys. It just So we want to just promote better language wherever possible. And that's something that you want to do. I think this right here, does language express values and expectations rather than punishments? I tend to be someone that leans into the notion that when I talk to students, I tell them the more you not reading for the class really negatively impacts you, and ultimately makes it so that, we don't have a fruitful discussion. So I encourage students to read so that we can have a more engaging discussion. We want to just promote students' ownership and buy-in is really what it comes down to. Supportive course policies. So we have a disability and inclusive statement. Really, I think these are some of the things that we do right here in the middle: time bank, self-set deadlines, week-long paper deadlines, flexible virtual office hours, academic dishonesty or dishonesty, chosen names and preferred pronoun statement. These are all things that we can do. I have a professor that is, the test is open for, instead of 2 hours, it's open for 2 days. But then the time for the test itself is only 2 hours, if that makes sense. So it's available for a longer period of time, but they still have a time test. So, you just want to be cognizant of these things, and what is your application of it? And are you delineating these things in your course, and in your syllabus? So just, I don't know, a lot of these things are, I think just trying to do a good job of being present for an ever-changing landscape, and recognizing that we need to meet our students where they're at. Virtual office hours are also a good idea. Accessible design. So to the original point about the policies, that was referenced earlier, there's nothing wrong with having a link to things. Those are good. You want to have your document, you can see over here on the right, you want to have it, if it broken down in titles or subtitle or headings, so there's the navigation. Increase the readability. You want to use a table. It's very clear. It's very explicit. Use a combination of text, accessible images, visual representations for content, Canvas tools. These are things that are available. I'll show you my kind of starting page, and then there's kind of inclusive language. So I'm going to pause right here, and just say, so that's what an inclusive syllabus is. All right. Any questions right now? All right. So in Canvas, we have the requirements. So this is my Canvas course right here. I'm showing you, right? So this is my homepage for students. So when they go in here, they go into my course, they go to the welcome and first steps for students. I have a little welcome, and in here, I link to my syllabus. In 2020, so like I said in the beginning, there is the document that is the syllabus, which is this, what I showed you, and you include all that stuff, and you include more. Some people, like I said, I don't have a lot of latitude in changing this right here with our learning objectives, our assignments, our policy, all that stuff. We have, and then here is what our syllabus looks like, everything we're doing each day. It's very clear. And then to your point, here is academic policies for students and a QR code. Okay, so this is what exists in my course right here. That being said, you also have this when you go to your syllabus. And in here, this is your Canvas course. These are the assignments that show up. They show up in your calendar, but you can also edit and add things to it. So you can add more information here if you want. So should you want to do more or add more, go for it. At the very least, you do need the document, which is this thing, which I previously showed you. And that will automatically then, and then this right here, this course summary is automatically populated by your assignment due dates. Okay. So when students go into syllabus, so that's another thing I think is worth noting is that syllabus, we think of as that one document, but the way it lives in your Canvas course is a little bit different, which means you have the ability to do more, right? You can create something a little more interactive. Now, depending on your, so you might have that document that you share, you send that to students. That's a basic thing. You might want to go above and beyond. You might want to do more. An interactive syllabus means different things. So it could be links to navigate through the syllabus. I kind of take it, this second one, front page of an entire website devoted to the course. So for me, I direct students to this homepage right here, and welcome and first steps, and kind of let this be more of my syllabus, because we have a hybrid course. There's a whole explanation to it. They get their first assignment, they get additional instructions, they get resources, they get things like that. And then they have a quiz that they take. So you can create an interactive syllabus. And what that means is that you do things. So I've seen people create modules where they have the assignments is a module, the readings are a module, the resources are a module. They do a bunch of other things in the way that they organize their course. This is for ambitious people. If you are an ambitious person, go for it. The thing about it though is that you need to determine what is crucial. And so let me see, this should be what I was talking about right here. So this is a sample of a interactive syllabus that was created for this course. It explains course etiquette. There's links, there's policies, there's instructions. They have the document, but they've also broken it up into more explicit information or more digestible information that students could be directed to. This is something that it all depends on the content, the course, what you're teaching, who your students are, what level of students, how many students, there's a whole lot. And you might also not have the autonomy to create this, but it is something that I have seen instructors do. The key to it, though, is keep it short and sweet. This is another interactive syllabus that someone created. This is like a template that you could use where you could add some images. You could just put the textbook, course description, course objectives, outcomes, tips, your teaching philosophy, any policies, kind of talk about instead of, just assignment overview, add in some interactive, some other things. You can put stuff in. This is just available. If you would like access to this course shell, please email me and I can give you access to it. So ultimately, what does this mean? So an inclusive syllabus is, you understand that this is a document that students refer to often, frequently, and sets the tone for your course. You recognize that you could go through, if you're using an older syllabus, and update some language to be more inclusive and more positive. If you're using an online syllabus, what can you do that could be interactive links or visuals or things like that? And then there is kind of, does your syllabus include inclusive and positive language? Does your syllabus include universal design learning principles? Is it designed for accessibility? Where possible, do you include interactive links or multimedia? And that helps student navigate information. And with that, I will go ahead and stop sharing and answer any questions.
Thank you so much, Ted. And once again, if you guys have questions, you can unmute yourself or type them in the chat, whatever you could feel comfortable with, but we'll give some time for people to trickle in some questions.
Thank you, Ted. This has been very interesting. I appreciate all of your knowledge. I was wondering if you could answer a question for me. So I am a new, I am a new teacher. I'm taking a course. I'm finishing my PhD, and I'm also teaching a course this semester. Yes. So this is my last course that I'm in, and my first course that I'm teaching at UNLV. And what I was trying to do is find the grades of similar to when I go in as a student and I can see, you know, this is the top grade, this is the bottom grade, and here I am. How do I find that with my students that I have given the grades to? I'm sorry if this is a little off topic.
Oh, it's okay. So you want it in your grade book?
Yeah, so I go in my grade book and I see all the people and I see all their grades, but I don't have anything that looks like that, high, low, and median or average.
It doesn't really show that in terms of, you can sort your grade book, and that's a whole other thing if you want. So if you go to in your grade book, if you go to the so I'll just share real quick.
Great, thank you.
I know this is a little off topic, but we'll make it happen real quick. It'll be fast. So you can sort, you go to total, find the total, sort by, and then high to low, low to high, and it'll sort your students.
Okay.
And then you can even do it based on for an assignment. You can sort it that way.
Okay. So and is there an average score for that particular assignment?
I don't think it would show that necessarily.
Okay.
I would have to look at it a little more clearly. I don't really, you can absolutely, in the analytics portion of your course, go into new analytics and get all that stuff. So if you want,
okay.
So there's a little box that says new analytics. And if you go to like your homepage, if you're on your homepage, there's a I'll show you right here. Right here, new analytics.
Oh, okay.
And then you can go in here and this will tell you course grade, weekly, students, reports, things like that, missing assignments, all that stuff. So.
Oh, and that tells you how long the students are online weekly?
Can give you all that information.
Okay.
Just go into new analytics and have a whole lot of fun.
Okay, great. Thanks so much.
You're welcome. This is my job, so if you have other questions too, I'm happy to answer.
Would you say this is, I taught at CSN, but in workforce development. And so with this certificate through the teaching that we're doing now, so the teaching certificate rather, obviously it's a lot different, but I worked a lot in Canvas. So my question is, the way you presented the online what is the name of it? The long title of this presentation.
An
Is this
inclusive and interactive syllabus?
Yes, that.
It just rolled off your tongue. It's so easy.
Would you say that this is like pretty much standard in higher education today, or is it more unique to UNLV?
We're getting there. I would argue that we developed this one during the pandemic, or we developed this. We've gotten much better, I guess is the best way to say it. You know, we're learning better. Like I said, we know better, we're doing better. Some people still bring, you know, they still just copy the same syllabus semester after semester. So this is our way of kind of updating or getting rid of antiquated language. Not everybody does these things, but it is becoming more common practice. So I would say it's not unique to UNLV, nor is it unique to higher education. It's more unique to older faculty members who have not kind of progressed with the times.
You know, thank you, because I see the difference in my professors. I'm in the Doctor of Public Policy program, so we are hybrid, and we have a huge array of who's doing and how they're presenting the online courses. So thank you, and I'm glad that you really presented it this way, because I think it's so important what you shared today.
Absolutely, and I don't begrudge people for doing things that worked for them. We just need to help people see the value of why we should change it. Like, what is it? Like, why is this better for our students, who ultimately is who we serve, right? And that's really what we're trying to do. The learning landscape has changed. Students are, I'm 46 years old. People don't learn the way I learned. There's no other way to say it. My son, he does not digest material the way I do, and we need to recognize that. And if we don't, we're only doing a disservice to our students and not preparing them to go out into the world. So,
yeah, great summation. Thank you so much.
And somebody was wondering if this is going to be available after TED, but you said something about sharing a link, I think.
Yeah, so this is actually a Canvas shell. So what I can do is, if people want to email me, or if you want to if people want to just let you know and I can add them, you can just send me the list of people from here, their email address with ACE IDs. I can add them to this and they have access to this content because it's a Canvas shell. So I give it to you that way.
Yeah, and also it's going to be available on the YouTube channel too, UNLV Graduate College. So if anybody wants to refer to that, it'll be up within a week. So, but if you guys are interested, yeah, I'll contact with Ted and then we'll make sure that you guys are added to the course. Any other questions?
Just copy my email address. I just put it in the chat. Start a little draft. Say, Ted, syllabus, please. And I'll send you the shell. I'll add you to it.
Thank you for that, Ted. Seems like these are all the questions that we have. Well, before we end today's session, we would like to thank our presenter Ted for sharing their time and expertise with us today, and to thank to our participants for joining us today. Before you all log off, please take a few moments to fill out the survey that I just dropped in the chat. It helps us improve the workshops that we provide for you guys. Thank you once again, Ted, for being here for another workshop for us. And have a nice day, everyone.
Always. Have a wonderful day. Good luck, y'all.
Thank you, Ted. It was great. A lot of good information.
Great
See, I
presentation.
did you all. I learned. Have a wonderful day. Take care.